Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, please, let's welcome Vinisha on the stage. Can we request our esteemed panel also to walk up? Raid Kuhail, CIO from Miral, to walk up, followed by Mohammad Shaki, the IT Director from Emirates NBD. Linoy Kid, the CIO, GBM, MENET, this is HSBC, to please also walk up. Vikalp Srivastava, VP Information Technology and Security from Kurzner International, followed by your round of applauses, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome once again Sharbel Zrabi, the Director, Channel Pre-Sales from Dell Technologies, and Faisal Amir Malik, CTO, Huawei Middle East and Central Asia EBG, to also step forward. Please welcome the panel with a lovely round of cheer. Once again, Vinisha, are you all set? Do we have Vinisha? Lovely. So, great. So, two more of our panelists joining us. That's when we will come into synergies and greet, because, of course, you know, Steve Jobs said that you cannot mandate productivity. If you empower the people with the tools, that's when you get ahead into technology. And so let's get talking and cracking about generative AI. And over to you, dear. Thanks. Can we make sure that the mic is turned on?
Hello?
Okay, do you want
Okay, now it's fine.
Lovely. Okay, over to you.
So how are you all feeling now? Lazy or energetic? Well, this topic is very interesting. Generative AI, we were just discussing earlier as well, that everybody is talking a lot about it, especially after the whole ChatGPT has come in. It's, again, a shiny toy syndrome, right? But what we have here with us is panelists which are from C-levels at various organizations and different industries. We have banking, we have tourism and entertainment, as well as ICT as well. So what we want to learn here from them is it just a hype, or we are ready to sort of start implementing it during, you know, at this stage in our enterprises? So I want to start maybe by a quick introduction for all of them, since they came in late. So just please start with your name and where you work, and then we can start a discussion.
Sure. Thank you for inviting. Pleasure being here. I'm Vikalp Srivastava. I head up technology and security for Kurzner International. So we are in hospitality business. Some of our brands are Atlantis the Palm, Atlantis the Royal, One and Only, One Zabil. We are building some One and Only in, we are opening in November. So there are some of the brands. We're a global company, a lot of resorts around the world. So I take care of security, digital transformation, compliance, all that side. Been into industry for 25 years. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Raid Kuhail, and I'm the Executive Director of Digital and Technology at Miral Group. Miral, as you know, is the leading creator of immersive experiences and destinations in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi. Our portfolio includes, and not limited to, Warner Brothers, Ferrari World, Etihad Arena, and the recently launched SeaWorld, which I hope you all had the chance to visit. I'm delighted to be on this panel today, and I look forward for an amazing discussion with this esteemed panel.
Thank you.
Can I have one? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So, Sharbel Zrabi, Pre-Sales Director at Dell Technologies. Those of you who were in the morning probably attended my session. Well, you all know what Dell Technologies do, so here we go.
Hi, everyone. This is Faisal Amir. I'm working as CTO for Huawei Middle East and Central Asia. And I think many of you know about Huawei. We are into telecom solutions, ICT solutions, a cloud company. We are into devices. Wherever there is ICT technology, Huawei is there, and we are part of all vertical industries. So that's all I think.
My name's Linoy Kid. I am the MSS CIO for HSBC. Very much thank you for letting me be on the panel. At least there's two women this time.
And I think before I start, how many, please raise your hand if your bank account in Emirates NBD.
Oh.
There we go. My name is
Please go out.
So, my name is Mohammad Shaki. I'm leading the digital workplace in Emirates MBD Group. I think that's enough.
So you have an advantage on us already, so that's not.
Can't
I'm
mess
not going
with
to go
him.
there.
Okay, great.
Competition.
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of competitors here as well. I think the majority panelists are from banking sector. So this is, again, for all of you who would like to ask questions related to banking in Gen AI, it's going to be a difficult one. So let's ask them those kind of questions. Okay, I think I'll start with Mr. Raid, right? Do you think that in terms of generative AI, like Gen AI is already ready for enterprise implementation, or is it still early days?
Thank you. Absolutely, no question that it is a very pervasive trend. And if you don't get on it, your competitors will. I had the privilege to attend Sam Altman's session coordinated by Help 71 in Abu Dhabi. And Sam said something that really resonated with me. He said, if you are not using AI, soon you'll be looked at as inefficient. I believe that we are at that state. And maybe allow me to share with you the urgency that we have at Miral on using generative AI. See, at Miral, we pride ourselves to be efficient, lean, and scalable, and data-driven. So we have 3,000 employees, and we overlook over 45 billion dirhams worth of assets. So scalability is important for our sustainability. And we have a group CEO that is a visionary, data-driven, tech-savvy, and he knew that this trend will solve the scalability challenge. So sure enough, he met with the COO of OpenAI, and they did a brainstorming session. The output of that session planted the seeds for our AI strategy. So today, we have a chatbot on our website that we launched in May. We use OpenAI to analyze the results of our surveys, which transformed this experience to the next level. And overall, we have a list of use cases that we're working on, and we are heading full steam in implementing our AI strategy.
That's very interesting. I think even I read about the Viral generative AI chatbot and stuff. It's quite interesting. Mr. Faisal, what are your takes on the subject?
I think, as you said at the beginning, and we were discussing as well, that I would mix the both comments that yes, on one side, we are at kind of initial stage of where we will be maybe after 2-3 years with the whole idea of generative AI. And a lot of us think that it's the very initial stage of a big hype. Or maybe it's a hype later on, you never know. But on the other hand, as my colleague was saying, that if you don't ride this wave, if you don't utilize the advantages of AI, and in particular something like generative AI, as powerful as generative AI, maybe you'll be left behind in your business, you'll not be efficient, maybe you'll vanish as an organization if you are into any kind of business. But on the other hand, we have to also see that as organizations, when you're implementing generative AI, are you even ready for that? Because before coming here, I was part of another event, and I was with an expert who is working with organizations to implement generative AI to the level of they're developing the LLM models, large language models. And I was asking her that, what is your biggest challenge? And she said that we are ready with our LLM models, but customers who want us to implement them in their environment are not ready. Their data is not ready. Their data is not ready to produce the right results. So the main question is that are organizations actually ready to adopt this technology? And even if they adopt it for the sake of it, that they start an initiative or a project, but is it really going to benefit them? So that is what my take is, that we, like any other technology, we have to see it. We don't have to be scared of it. Like I even attended forum where there were people were discussing, and they were scared of things like ChatGPT and OpenAI and things like that. So we don't have to be scared of it. We have to adopt it. But at the same time, we have to adopt it in the right way, that it gives us the right fruits and results as an enterprise or as a government, both.
Thank you, very insightful. Mr. Chabil, for you, I want to ask you, what is your take on when an entity is sort of selecting AI solutions or generative AI solutions. Do you think they should go with the out-of-the-box solutions and do their customization, or go full-on and hire a team of data scientists, have them develop models? Which area do you think, or which is the right approach, and how do we decide the right approach around it?
Thank you. So I think there's no approach that fits everyone, all right? And you might see in the same organization that they are adopting both approaches. And it all relates to, one, the size of the organization, how much do they want to spend, the time to market that they need. So for instance, if you want to start from scratch and build everything from scratch, it's going to take much more time. While there are some pre-trained models which you can use or organization can use with their own data and reach the inference, if you want, phase much faster. So it really depends really on multiple, if you want, parameters, and on the projects and on the organization. So it's not really like one size fits all, and it really can be a mix of both within the same
What are you
organization.
seeing more with your clients? I mean, you work with a lot of companies. What is the most common trend?
Look, I can tell you about Dell Technologies. About Dell Technologies, we're building everything from scratch. Because we have like a huge number of data scientists and we have a huge organization. And in the last, actually, probably 6 months, we introduced within our systems around like 50 additional AI tools, some of which we don't even use directly, but are actually helping us from a business management perspective. From a customer perspective, it's not that yet popular, let's say. Okay, generative AI, people are still like waiting to see what they want to do, what others are doing. Some people, like Basil mentioned, that probably are scared because, you know, AI now is making a big change. And when there's a change, always some people want to actually wait and see what's going to happen. So there is a sort of maturity index that if we look at today, and I was looking at it actually before we come here, and you see that the maturity of AI among organizations is still not very high, at least on generative AI. And there's a lot of adopters. So we are still probably at the, at the initial stages of the generative AI within the organizations.
Thank you so much. Very insightful. So, Linoy, what is your take in terms of the data quality? How important that is for generative AI models to work well? And how can we strategize in order to make sure that this doesn't become a challenge later on?
So data underpins probably the major challenge within our organization. And in order to, so just let's take a step back. In terms of Gen AI, the bank is taking a very conservative view. So, you know, we're highly regulated. We've got to make sure that we hit the regulation. So what we are using it for is incredibly clever. We have this data that's dispersed all over the bank in different business lines. So, you know, you've got retail, you've got markets, you've got security services, you've got wholesale, and it's spread everywhere. And what we're using Gen AI for, is to bring that together. So there's this amazing AI map that we have now that we can basically say, okay, give me all the CPU, where's all my servers, have I got risk, have I got capacity issues, am I using it correctly, So going back to your question, it's incredibly important to ensure that your underpinning data is correct, and that we really use the tools that we have in order to take any organization to the next level.
Thank you so much. Very insightful. What is your take on that, Vikalp?
No, this is a great question. I mean, look, data is the new gold, right? We are sitting on so much data, and it was so hard to get information out of it. Right now, we can do miracle with AIs. So, being in hospitality industry, we work very closely with the personalization, right? So every guest which comes to Atlantis, the one and only, we want to know who they are, what they prefer at a very personal level. So you really need to know, and we got like over 60,000 traveling every year to our resorts. Now, to get to a specific golden record, what we call in our hospitality industry is the golden record, which can tell you that who this person is, who's coming in. Getting that information quickly available, that's very, very big challenge. Because everyone gives, when you connect to a Wi-Fi, you always give some fake email address. But we want to understand that the email address you're giving on a Wi-Fi versus when you're checking into the hotel, whether it's the same, it's different, whether it's the same person or not, all that information. So AI, what it does miracle in that entire thing is that can correlate. It can tell you that which email is actually more frequently used, which one, which of the family member were actually the primary member, who's responding to your travel request. So things like that can be done, and every industry is different. But with the AI, that huge data screening problem is kind of getting to the next level. Now, again, remember that it's artificial in the intelligence part. So you always need to depend that how much you can train it to give you what you really want. Because if you train it wrong and there's the wrong information gone into AI, it will give you a wrong output as well. So it's very important for technology people to configure it correct so that business can use it right way. So that's what my...
Thank you so much. Very insightful. Now, this is my favorite question, I would say, right? I'm always interested in use cases. People talk a lot about big technologies, but I really want to hear from some of our panelists here, what are the use cases that they are implementing when it comes to Gen AI, or their industry-specific use cases that either it's customer-centric or customer-facing, or it's specific to your industry. Mr. Shoki, I think you can add...
I think I can see we have only 18 minutes, but I need actually hour and a half. So I will try to make it short, actually. So what we try to do is to, I think I was talking to a nice person I met here, and we agreed that AI it's more for augmentation and not for automation. It's where we are not here to kick people out and get the jobless people number increase. No, it will be like a cooperation between AI and people, right? So this is actually the approach, and I want this to be more actually clear for everyone. My use case is something actually proof there is a way to do that. There is a team of like 40 people. They are receiving 35,000 email every month, okay? And all these emails are requests, follow-up, and other kind of customer actually requirement, right? And handling this is a nightmare. Not just handling this, giving the business visibility of what's happening with the customer, what kind of SLA actually been in place, and what is the customer satisfaction level, what kind of improvement that the team needs, right? That was all like black boxes for the business. How we can actually break through that? We used Gen AI and AI itself to break this actually challenge. What we did, we use cognitive services, text analytics, sentimental analytics, and once and put it actually between the agent and the email. Once the email come through, AI will understand who's the customer, what is the request, what is the requirement, and how is the mood of the customer. Is he in a rush? Is he angry? Is he actually not happy with the service we're providing? And all that actually goes to in, and the out will be, okay, that customer need that service, and his satisfaction level in the previous cases he has with us or the previous request is 50%, 60%, 70%. Automatically will be assigned to one of the agents to say, yeah, X, Ahmed, Muhammad, or Ali, or Michael is the best guy actually to pick up this ticket. And an SLA will start. We know that requests need 2 hours, 3 hours, 6 hours, 1 day, 2 days. SLA will start counting, right? And here, actually, GenAI will come. It will open a window to the agent to tell him, watch out. This is not the first complaint that customer raised for the same things. I can feel that from his language, he's actually angry, or he's not happy, or his satisfaction level dropped more. And then it tells him actually what kind of language he could use to reply to that customer, right? It will tell him as well. In similar cases, you contacted that team, and the team came back that the round actually of your case, or the round, the time that your case gets resolved is that time. So please do not respond to your customer with less than this, because that will decrease the satisfaction, right? And then it actually as well, once the issue is resolved, it tells him how to respond to the customer. This is not the end of the journey. This is just halfway. The second half is reporting. It gives my business an idea what kind of requests is coming, how many of them, right? What is the customer satisfaction level? What is the level of knowledge of the agent? That's it? No. And then start actually giving an improvement tips to the manager to tell him, you know what? You need to increase the SLA, because all the ticket came under this kind of request. Your SLA was 6 hours, and it was resolved in 8 or 10 hours. You need to adjust your SLA. Not just that, the agent responds to the client. We can detect a language barrier or a lack of emotional intelligence, a lack of communications. You need to put X, Y, Z into a crucial conversation course, into a communication course. So think about it as a closed circle of actually cooperation and integration. Not just that, using an ecosystem that gives me the benefits of watching that agent everywhere, watching him in his other email response, watching him in his Teams chat, without, the system does not reveal a privacy, does not breach the privacy of the users. It gives a very high level tips about the performance. And it gives it as well in a team member, because that guy is a member of a team, so it most talks about the team instead of individuals, right? So that shows how GenAI and AI itself can work together with people, not replacing them. And this is actually the beauty of that, the beauty of GenAI and AI.
Very interesting use case, and properly explained across different channels, so very nice. I'll go back to Mr. Raid now. In terms of Gen AI, how does it help innovation of new products or new revenue streams?
Yeah, sure. We have a couple of those that we are working on right now. I mentioned the chatbot earlier. So we have a clear roadmap on where we want to take this chatbot. Right now it's informative, and we already gained some efficiencies because of the elevation of quality of responses. So there are less delegation to a physical call center. But as a second phase, we want it to be more transactional, where it actually handholds the customer onto the shopping cart and then allows the customer to push the buy button once everything is all set. But as a third phase, we want our chatbot to be the best salesperson in the organization, simply because it is so well informed about the customer and so well informed about our products. This is revenue generation, but it's not a product per se. A product that we are working on right now, and actually we're very excited about, you know when you go to a theme park and they sell you the picture of you on the ride?
Yeah.
So we want to take this three levels up using generative AI. So imagine if you turn into a superhero, and today there's an AI technology that can transform you into that favorite superhero. But also imagine if that figure is part of a short clip, part of a movie. But let's take it another step. Imagine if you narrate the short movie, the story of the short movie, and then within minutes, you get that video of your creation of how you would like this video to be. There is a tool out there, I believe it's called makeavideo.studio, and anybody who wants to connect with me after that, I'm more than happy to share the information, where it takes you from text to image to video. So we're capitalizing on this, and we want to create a product, like you said, and to be able to generate revenue from it. So this is one use case we're very excited about.
This is super exciting, but I get really horrible pictures in the roller coaster. I never got a good picture. It's quite embarrassing, actually.
Well,
but
now,
I definitely
now
want
you get to be Wonder Woman in a nice short movie that is made by you.
Sounds great, sounds great. Okay. Faisal, do you want to add something in terms of the ICT industry? Like, what are the use cases in terms of Gen AI?
I think, first of all, ICT, the whole chat GPT or any AI implementation is nearly impossible without the advancements in ICT industry itself, because the underlying ICT infrastructure has to be matching to the kind of machine learning and the whole AI compute power we need and the data storage capabilities we need. So that's one thing. But how ICT industry itself is using generative AI, I'll give you one example that is any network personnel here from IT or any network people? So otherwise I'll go very simple language. So when we sit in managing IT systems or networks, earlier we would use command line. So we would give command to the system would do the configuration we have written in command. Then we got a bit advanced where we had GUIs, so we would click buttons and that configuration would be translated and the things would change in the data centers or in the networks. But then came, even before the concept of generative AI had hit the market, we had internally, or in the network industry, there was a word that appeared was, maybe you're aware of that, intent-driven network management or intent-driven management of your ICT infrastructure. So what was intent-driven management of your ICT infrastructure was that you can talk to your IT system. That, for example, this hotel has suddenly in this room today maybe 500 people coming and they will all be using Wi-Fi. So rather than going and configuring the access points and the switch, everything for 500 guests and the related security and everything, I can talk to the system in a chat mode and give the command that please add 500 guests. You may not write, please, it's a machine, we are a bit rude people, but add 500 guests, blah, 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 to the system for tomorrow, date this to this. So rather than learning commands, getting certified on it, now you are speaking to the underlying machine. So with generative AI, but that is still limited to your knowledge, what you want to pass on to your ICT infrastructure. But with generative AI, the machine can also respond to you. That you can go and talk to your network that what is the best configuration for me tomorrow if this number of people are attending this event and all will be using Wi-Fi. So that the machine or the network's management system would respond to you that this is the best configuration in your system. You can also talk to the system that what are the vulnerabilities in our cybersecurity strategy right now, or maybe it will go through all the data available, interconnect all the logic and give you the reply. So ICT infrastructure definitely would benefit from generative AI, and we are heading in that direction. But before I finish, on the other hand, you would also increase your risk because we don't know how the hackers are using generative AI. We don't know how the people who sabotage ICT systems are gonna use generative AI and come up with lethal codes that may infiltrate or penetrate into our ICT system. So it will go hand in glove with how we move forward.
Yeah,
Thank
both
you.
advantages and risks definitely
Yeah.
come hand in hand. So, Mr. Chabal, I want to ask you the difference between traditional AI and Gen AI. Which one is better? Do you hear people often, mix them both up? Are they different? Please explain that to us.
All right, so yes, they are different, for sure. People mix them up maybe now because like Gen AI is rather new, but both are actually, they have a lot of things in common. So the infrastructure requirements, the application that you're going to build through, the data quality, all of these are common between them. Nevertheless, traditional AI is more about machine learning, deep learning. It's about actually touching, understanding data points, so ingesting data points and building from those data points statistical data that is helping the machine predict things. All right. So, for instance, let's say your smartwatch, like I was talking about this morning, a self-driving car. So all of these are like traditional AI applications that we see today, and actually some of which we use every day, like when you are on your car GPS, all right? It's all statistical data that is being collected every day. And actually, this is how the GPS can predict, for example, like the traffic, how much it's going to take, and your road, how much it's going to take, and it can give you which road is faster, shorter, etc. So this is more like applications for traditional AI. Generative AI, on the other hand, it touches more data points. It is massive. And the difference is it generates things. So you can interact with it in a different way. And it actually has different use cases. So for instance, like when you want to create something, like what you have mentioned, it's actually generative AI. So today there are actually consumer tools where you can go. If you've seen my presentation in the morning, I had an AI introduce me, and it was like an avatar that actually looked like a real human being, spoke like a real human. Actually, it even says my name in the right accent. And you can go to that tool. It's called Synthesia.io, and you can generate up to, I think, around like 20 languages now, including Arabic. So if you write the script in Arabic, the person or the avatar will talk Arabic. And there's multiple avatars, different ethnicity, different backgrounds, different accent. So you can talk in an English and an Arabic accent. So it's becoming really, really more advanced. And every time I log into that tool, you see that there is something new, like head gestures, hand gestures. Maybe tonality is not yet there, but I'm sure it will be there. So you see, like traditional AI, I mean, generative AI is a subset of AI, and it does something totally different. But at the end, the commonality is both are important for the business and for the organizations. Both are going to help the organization generate more revenue, reduce cost, and also, as Mr. Raad mentioned about this gentleman who said it, if actually people are not going to adopt AI, they're going to be left behind. And I'm not saying it about consumer, I'm talking more about organizations. And we've seen that with every big change that happened in technology. If we look at least at the top Fortune 500 companies, many of them actually disappeared just because they did not write this way.
Definitely, very insightful. Vikalp, what is, again, your take in terms of, say, innovation and new revenue streams? We had various good examples as well. Raid also spoke about it. Very keen to hear from you as well on that topic.
No, I heard somewhere that someone was giving this analogy that AI is at that level where internet was in 80s. Right? It's just starting up. And right now it's learning, it's self. You need to understand that what AI can do, what is the limit. They are also enhancing the AIs. So there are multiple different ways which we are in our company trying to innovate on based of AI. Of course, a lot of security risk around where hackers are using AI to attack you, and they know that what commercially available systems are there, so how they can bypass that. So you need AI to fight an AI-based attack. So you're trying to get on that layer, which is more geeky layer. But then on the business side, where one of the example, very easy to correlate, every job opening you post on LinkedIn, you get like thousands of CVs. And that's very hard for this poor HR guy to connect like which CV is really near to the JD. And we were hiring like 600 people for one Zabil one and only. It was just nightmare that how you can do that entire thing. And here's this magic comes that if you inject AI into this entire sequence, it can actually do that review monotonous job, right? Another comes for the legal contracts. You need to keep writing the similar kind of contracts. And it works, AI works like an assistant to you, right? Rather than you copy paste from AI and you use it for your legal contracts, I think that's not a good idea. But you can definitely copy at a level where you can then implement the human intelligence rather than artificial intelligence and then take it to the next level. But it can reduce a lot of monotonous job. It can save a lot of work hours. It can take you to an area which you never thought of. It can give you suggestions rather than you go on Google, I mean, with all due respect to Google, it gives you all these links from all different websites. Versus when you go on Gen AI, it gives you specific details. Right? It can write a Python code for you. So I mean, it's so amazing to have that thing. But my only suggestion, which I kind of from experience we had, don't copy paste things, especially on the chat GPT kind of example, where if you are pasting something very sensitive from your company, it's going to end up in some machine learning algorithm on a cloud. And that was a Samsung example. I think everyone heard that what happened to their code. So just be careful on that part. That's my suggestion. But it can do amazing thing. Use it as assistant.
Very risky, yeah. So time is up. But if it's okay for the organizers, can I take another 5 minutes? Maybe ask the audience some questions? Sorry, 1 minute, 2 minutes. 2 minutes, okay. I think quickly I'll give you 30 seconds each, okay. Tell me something about both of you are in banking industry, right? Yeah. And I think the compliance and regulatory element is always the painful part. So when it comes to Gen AI or AI use cases, what are the challenges you're facing? A quick response from both of you.
So we're heavily regulated in banking. And every country has a different regulation. So we have to be very careful about new technology and how we implement new technology. When we went into the cloud, we really had to look at that. And in terms of what I'm looking at right now, and I know I don't have much time, but Saudi Arabia is a big, heavily regulated country. You know, they have the new PDPL, they have the NDMO and the Article 42. So we are looking at that very, very heavily, and it does play a part in what we can and can't do. But I will say that we are using Gen AI on elements that are behind the scenes, so on the back office side, where it will help us tremendously. As per the user case that I said. So we do have this spider web where, for me, I'm the CIO of MENA, I can check in Turkey what servers I have, what CPU I have, etc., and it's very, very useful. So I would definitely say it's very advantageous.
Great points. Unfortunately, we are super short of time. Does anyone have any urgent questions? Then please ask us. One question. Okay, great. Imran. Another banking expert. Yes. Mic shortages.
Thank you very much. See, my question is very straightforward regarding the Gen AI. We know Gen AI definition is different for different organizations and different people. We all know. And the whole world is seeing the two sides of Gen AI, the negative and positive impact. And we have seen in recent days, experts are giving their warning signs on the negative impact, negative side of Gen AI. So I would like to ask the experts on the stage, like, going forward, what type of shape this Gen AI is going to take so that it can build 100% confidence for the customers? Because today, the concern of security about the data, customers' data, is still a big challenge, even though we see the positive side of this Gen AI. So what do you think, how going forward, this, where the customers will ensure, yes, Gen AI, I can bet on it. It is not going to, make any damage for me.
I think 3 challenges need to be resolved to get actually the confidence, right? Number 1, and these 3 things has been noticed in the lab and by experiment. AI could be biased to the data actually model that he was trained for, and sometimes that start questioning the credibility of the informations coming out. And that's preventing people to use it in where a critical decision need to be made, like healthcare, for example, right? The second one is it get disrupted or actually irritated when you change the data that actually the model was trained for. And that actually make the Gen AI provide not 100% accurate information. So that issue as well need to be resolved. The last one, which is why the regulatory is a bit actually defensive on that, it's very hard to explain how it works, right? So, and by human nature, what you don't know, you're always afraid of. So unless we resolve that issue and make Gen AI or AI easy to explain, clear, transparent, how it works, how the data being collected, how the data being processed, the metadata, all this complicated terminology, unless you make it actually easy to understand and easy to explain, that we will keep facing these issues. That's the 3 proven challenge that we have seen in the market, and these has to be tackled immediately in order to open a wider door for AI or Gen AI with regulation as well. I hope I answered your questions. Thank you.